if I bring in 10,000 new fans but chase away 10,000 old fans, am I really any further ahead?
Morgan, they're doing more gimmicky things than they've ever done. Kirsten and Mondo, the 100-meter showdown, Michael Johnson's Grand Slam before we came on the air, the Diamond League putting in more money. What should we look forward to in this next cycle? Does track and field hit a new stratosphere? I know Sebco and everybody below him believes that this sport should reach different heights. Will it, or
One,
will it ever just be what it is, and should we be okay with that, and should we just enjoy it?
the fascinating part to me is between Grand Slam track saying that they have 12 and a half, $13 million in prize money on offer for the season. And World Athletics saying now we've bumped up our prize money to $9.5 million, 9.9 and a quarter $1 million. Um, One, it removed like this opacity around what people actually get paid, what's at stake financially. But it also tells you how much smaller time world class track and field is because we're talking about $12 million, and that's a huge sum of money to fund prize money for an entire league for a season in Grand Slam track. $9.5 million for an entire season's worth of prize money for an entire roster of athletes for the Diamond League. What does $9.25 million get you in the NBA? That gets you like a backup point guard, right? That gets you sort of like a mid-level or like a pre-arbitration
Yeah,
quality baseball player, right? And we're talking about whole leagues,
the
okay?
same amount.
But
Yeah,
in the
that's
track and field world, this is a lot of money.
yeah.
And so the gimmicks aren't going to save track and field. My fear is that track and field and boxing are very similar in that they were sports that used to be really popular and they've given up a lot of market share to football, which a lot of sports have in North America. And they're sort of fringe sports now, but with, and I say this all the time, sort of like a please like my sport complex.
Yes.
And one of the things every now and then someone in either sport thinks of is why don't we have a gimmick? And the gimmicks are what's going to save the sport. So in boxing for a while, it was influencer boxing, which apparently is still going on, right? This was like when Logan Paul was fighting KSI and all this stuff. And influencer boxing has not saved boxing. It's not going to save boxing. Boxing got to save boxing. So track and field, same thing. It's fun every now and then to see a pole vaulter race a 400-meter hurdler in 100 meters. But if you think taking people purposely out of the event that makes them great and putting them into some other event is what's going to save the event, Mondo Duplantis ran 10-3. There's lots of, relatively speaking, lots of 10-3 sprinters in the world.
Right.
Like, not really, but in an absolute sense, no. In a relative sense, yes. So after a while, like, I don't need to see him running 10-3 or the other guy running 10-3. I still want to see the person running 9.75. And so what track and field often loses sight of is this happens in track and field. This happens in boxing. This happens like in the news media, like in the traditional news media, in the sense that they often get so hung up on attracting new fans that they alienate the ones they already have.
For sure.
And so if I bring in 10,000 new fans but chase away 10,000 old fans, am I really any further ahead? Now, consistency helps. Is just finding a way to keep your sport on television or whatever the big streaming platforms are consistently. That would help. And this is where like Diamond League is going to run into some trouble in the US because FlowTrack has their rights now. And FlowTrack is behind a paywall because FlowTrack has said we're not worried about uh, expanding this sport. What we're worried about is getting more money out of the people that already like the sport.
Sure.
But in terms of growing the sport, it's very important to stay sort of on TV or whatever the biggest platform is consistently. And until track and field can do that, track and field is going to stay trapped in this cycle where people parachute in every 4 years. And then on 4 years plus one day, they disappear. So this is track and field's eternal challenge and the puzzle that track and field stakeholders always have to solve.